So, I think we are all really excited for the new open world Mario game that is rumored to be coming to Switch 2 in a couple months. Why wouldn't we be, right? This game will probably be open world, will have stunning graphics and controls, and it's for sure going to introduce a groundbreaking mechanic like all the past 3D Mario games. But let's take a break for a moment and stop speculating. Instead, let's just focus on the wonderful Mario games we already have like the Super Mario Galaxy games, Mario 64, and the game I'm talking about today, Mario Sunshine. In my opinion, this game is extremely underrated and my personal favorite out of the 3D Mario series. I know this isn't a popular opinion at all, but just take 2 minutes of your time and listen to me. First of all, Super Mario Sunshine didn't have the greatest launch out there. People weren't necessarily looking forward to playing another classic, straightforward 3D Mario because most of them have already played Mario 64, which introduced the base foundation for 3D Mario games. Like how the game controls, what type of movement and jumps is Mario able to perform, the storyline, and many other things that are still implemented in the newest games from the 3D Mario series. Instead, gamers wanted something more unique and that would stand out. And unfortunately, Mario Sunshine didn't really offer that. The game took place in El Delfino. This place was a resort in which people would come in their holidays and relax. Yeah, it's still more unique than Peach's Castle from Mario 64, but at the end of the day, the concept is still very simple if you think about it. And the fact that the new groundbreaking mechanic of this game was considered quite gimmicky by most people didn't help at all. I think most of you already know FLUDD. In this game, this machine helps Mario spray objects and whatever he likes with water, helps him to platforming easier than normal, thanks to the jetpack function, and can even send him up in the sky later on in the game after some upgrades are unlocked. Personally, I find this to be an amazing addition to Sunshine that works really well with the environment the game takes place in. But most gamers don't agree with me. They say that this feature removes every bit of classic Mario from this game, which can be understandable. Now, all the classic jumps of Mario 64 aren't really that common because FLUDD will help you out with them. For this reason, most people consider Sunshine to be way too easy. That's why some of the levels that don't include FLUDD are fan favorites. And the worst part for people who hate FLUDD is that the game is based around it and can be finished without it. This is just one of the reasons why gamers hate this game. But the list doesn't end here. For example, Al Delfino receives a lot of hate just because it doesn't include classic enemies like Goombas and Koopa Troopas. Instead, it is full of Piantas, the residents of this resort. I think this is actually a nice change because especially nowadays when all Mario games include basically the same enemies and location the game takes place in, this feels really refreshing. The same thing is valid for the levels. Most people said they suck just because they weren't quite unique and barely related to Mario's movement and controls from previous 3D Mario games. But now these levels actually feel solid and enjoyable. And finally, the last thing people used to hate on a ton was this game's camera, which isn't in fact the best out there. But I feel like everyone is overreacting about it. Yeah, it ain't the best for sure, but it is actually usable and after a while it don't even bother it that much. Also, in later re-releases, in Super Mario 3 All-Stars to be precise, this problem was almost fixed, so now the game is even more fun and enjoyable. So, as you may know, now the GameCube will be added to the Switch 2 expansion pass. And this means that the chances of getting Mario Sunshine or Switch 2 are quite high. Also, this game will for sure receive at least some slight upgrades over the original GameCube version, like visual enhancements to Full HD, option to play in full screen, smoother controls, and most importantly, a better camera mechanic. I think that these are the only upgrades we actually need from this game to make it up to date. Everything else is just perfect in my opinion. If you don't agree with me, feel free to tell me your opinion in the comments down below. I just think that Mario Sunshine was way ahead of its time. If it would be re-released today with some slight changes to its visuals, controls, and camera mechanic, I can almost guarantee you that this game would be a fan favorite for most Mario fans out there. The game theme, environment, controls, and enemies would be more appreciated in today's era because most of us are simply fed up with classic Mario and just thought something different, not too complicated and enjoyable. And Mario Sunshine checks every box from this list. I find this game to be simply amazing. Really innovative idea, great gameplay, a different storyline which I am a fan of, nice levels ideas, and great controls and movement thanks to FLUDD. Even if you have played this game before, I suggest you revisit it. There are so many new things to discover with each game through that it would take you a long time to discover everything that Sunshine has to offer. And don't forget you can always challenge yourself by trying to 100% it or speedrun it. I actually love this game. If you enjoyed this clip, I'd be extremely grateful if you could like, subscribe, give me some feedback in the comments, or share this video. I put a ton of effort to make this clip as I wanted it to be, so if you do the things mentioned above, I'll be very thankful. I was David. Bye. Have a nice day.